And guess what? Whether you are reading data from an SQL database, and I don't know how many of you have done this. I went through a bit of, it took a bit of effort here, but I decided to showcase an example where you can actually read, or you can read data from a database and then ingest it into a Pandas data frame. And this is, if you go out there in industry, what you begin to notice is that this is probably one of the most common use cases. Most organizations will store information not in CSV files or in Excel files, right? They will have this information in a database. So rather than you have some database administrator or something, like a business analyst, run queries and extract that information, you can dynamically read that information from a database. This is the whole point of this example number 4. I know it's a trivial example, and I think I use SQL-lit. So what I'm essentially doing in the background, in case people care here, is that so I'm using the CSV file to create an SQL-lit database, right? This is the DB file, and then we are querying the database itself. Because you have a database, you can actually query it in a number of different ways, right? One of the interesting ways in which you can query this database is you can specify an SQL query. You understand? So this is why we have this example here. Please go through it at your own time and try and see if you can actually play around with it by specifying different types of queries. Like in this particular case, the query that we are using is just enabling us to extract the gender, the student name, and the exam score, right? If we wanted, what we could do is we could select everything, is it? From here, and it would still work, right? So we are selecting, and maybe this will make a lot of sense, I guess, if I don't know if we can do this here. You've forgotten your databases, you guys, right? I don't know what's... You've forgotten your databases? You have or you haven't? So to showcase what we are doing here, in case you're wondering what sort of structure we're working with, it's a simple database, quite all right. So we can do this, I guess. And the structure is simple, is it, in our database? We only have one table. And this is the structure of the table. So if you have this database, if you're thinking of playing around with this database, this is what you're working with. And so if you're working with this, you can, I'm saying that you can do, usually when you're working with your RDBMS here, it's like you can, and I have to do the tables here. You can do this, right? This is what we're doing, but we're doing this from within Pandas. And in fact, I don't know if this is fine actually. We can do the usual things here, like this. In fact, do this. So what I'm trying to showcase here is that what I'm doing here can be done within Pandas, right? Depending on what sort of data you want to extract, you can just write these SQL queries and then you analyze your data afterwards. What other interesting things are there? Well, we see here that, so we can read an entire table. This is a simplified example of how you are reading data from a database using Python Pandas. In a real world scenario, you would have a database that has probably like hundreds of tables, not one table, right? When you have a student table. What we are saying is you can even read data from one of the tables. You understand? If that makes sense.